Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Mel here from Team You Finance, and today I want to talk about 5 people that you need to immediately cut off or stay away from when you're trying to level up your money. Alright, so let's get right into it. You know how I like to get into it. Alright, the first person that I want to talk about is the user. We gotta cut the user off. The user only calls you when they need some money immediately. They don't call you no other time. They don't text you. They don't check up on you. They don't come to your events. They don't spend any type of time with you. They don't help you plan nothing. They're just all about using you for what you have. You got to get rid of the user, because once you get rid of the user, once you cut them off, you'll be able to see a lot more things for yourself. And remember, the user is only out to get what they need, so they could use what they need from you. User doesn't care about you, so we got to get rid of the user. And let me tell you something what's really terrible about the user. Once the user gets what they want from you, they no longer have a need for you. Your friendship is disposable to the user. So when it gets to that level, the user does a few things. Either number one, they cut you off, or they could ignore you, or if they don't ignore you or cut you off, the user ghosts you. Completely ghosts, no call, no show, nothing. The user is completely out. So we want to stay away. We want to cut the users off. All right. Next person that we need to stay away from or cut off immediately is the blamer. Now, the blamer, it's everybody else's fault that they don't have anything. It's everybody else's fault that they can't keep a job. It's everybody else's fault that they squandered their money. It's everybody else's fault that they didn't save. It's everybody else's fault that they make foolish, frivolous, ridiculous purchases. It's everybody else's fault. A person like that always blames everybody and never takes any type of accountability for their bad spending, you don't need to be around that person. Because number one, when you're trying to, save your money or level up your money, they're going to try to tell you that something's wrong. They're going to essentially start blaming you why they don't have any money. Even if you didn't know this person years ago when they started making their foolish purchases or their foolish investments, they're going to find a way to blame you, to say that, hey, it's your fault that they didn't get to where they need to get to in life. You want to stay away and cut those type of people off immediately. Again, people, if this message resonates or you like the content so far, please comment, like, subscribe, and I always ask, share the content. Thank you so much. All right. Next person that we want to stay away from is the complainer. They complain about everything. Although we're talking about money here, but the complainer kind of has a background, because if they complain about money, then everything else is an issue and a bother in their life. They constantly complain about having no money. They complain about not having the job that they need. They complain about, other people being successful. They complain about their bills. Okay? They complain about their bad investments. They complain about you not doing what they're doing. They constantly complain. So a complainer, you need to just simply cut ties and move away from them. Another issue or another concern with a complainer is that whenever they come to you and out of the goodness of your heart, you try to make suggestions to them, they're like, what? Because remember, it's easier for them to complain rather than take a suggestion. Remember, your money is growing. You're doing well. You've taken advice. You start to seek out to people that can help you or to teach you how to level your money up. But the complainer does not want to hear that. They just want your money and they want you to listen. And let me tell you something else with a complainer. Many a times, because I've dealt with a few complainers in my life, in financial and other aspects of my life. The only thing the complainer does is they just keep talking over you. They just keep complaining and complaining and complaining over you. They don't want to hear nothing that you have to say other than, okay, this is my problem. Complainer is very selfish. It's all about the complainer, their wants and their needs. If you're dealing with a complainer and you're trying to level up your money, cut them off. You don't need to hear their money problems or any other issues that they have. Let it go. All right. The next one that I want to talk about is the abuser. This is the financial abuser. I know I mentioned 5, but I think that this is the worst one. And why I think it's the worst one is because the abuser, when they're doing it to you, you don't even know that you're being abused. And abuse goes in all different forms. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about financial abuse. You don't even know you're being used. You don't know you're being manipulated. You don't know you're being treated badly. You don't know people's basically, stealing your money from you. You don't even know that you're being treated badly on a financial aspect. Because the abuser, the way they come across to you, a lot of them, they come off very nice. They seem very sincere. Many times the abuser is not really, I don't want to say a stranger, but it's not really like a friend that we know outside. Sometimes the abuser can be a relative or even a family member. And those are the worst ones because they're close to your heart. They're close to you. So you tend to think like, you know what? Although you might have some type of inkling that you're being abused or you're being treated badly, you might say to yourself, nah, it must all be in my head. No, it's not in your head. The abuser takes your kindness for weakness. Okay? That's where that old adage comes. Don't take my kindness for weakness. They know that you're a good person. They know that you're a hard worker. They know that you're driven. You're very driven. You're driven emotionally. You're driven financially. Okay? You will work. You will save. You will do what you need to do. You'll take on a second job. You'll find other ways to make multiple streams of income. And so because they know what a good, dedicated person you are to building your wealth and financial stability, they take advantage of that. Sometimes they abuse you by telling you, oh, well, I never had this. I never had that. You know, when you were small, when you were little, I used to do this for you. I used to do that for you, especially if it's a family member. In other words, they guilt you into feeling bad. You don't want to deal with somebody like that, okay? You don't deal with an abuser or somebody who takes your kindness for weakness and tries to basically steal your money from you in the decoy way. You don't want to do that. So we need to really stay away from the abuser. We need to cut them off immediately. All right. The next person that I think we need to cut off and stay away from immediately is the competitor. So let me explain what I mean by the competitor. And before we get into it, I think competition is good. Don't get me wrong. Why do you think businesses thrive? Why do we think businesses make money? Because of competition. If a business is started and there's no competition, they don't have to do good. They don't have to level up. They don't have to try to make their product or their services good. But a competitor in the sense of finance, when it's somebody that you know and trust, that isn't a good competitor. Because a competitor would make you start to doubt yourself as to whether or not you're good enough. Okay? So let me further explain. The competitor wants you to do well, only to a certain aspect, to a certain level. They want you to get better. They want you to make a little bit of money, but they only want you to make enough that they can benefit from. So let's say, for example, I'm just throwing some numbers out. Let's say you made $1,000. The competitor needs about 800 of that money because let me tell you, these people don't think twice. There's no holds bar with these people. There's no limits. They don't care. They need what they need and they're going to ask for what they need. Okay? That's what you're there for. Let's say you make $1,000. Competitor needs $800. Remember, you're only left with $200. The competitor doesn't care that you only have $200 because obviously $200 is not going to meet your needs. But you've already met their needs by giving them the $800. And that's how the competitor works. The competitor wants you to level up or grow enough to be able to give them. But they don't want for you to have more once they take away what it is that you have. They don't want you to grow. This is another dangerous type of person. If you're dealing with anybody that's like that, again, you need to cut off, you need to delete, you need to get rid of these type of people. Okay? You need to just completely stay away from people like these. Cut them off immediately. You got to delete their numbers. You cannot keep those type of people's number in your phone. What does that mean? When they call you, ask you for money, you're going to tell them no. So again, people, those are just the 5 people that I mentioned that I believe that people should stay away from. We stay away from the user. We stay away from the blamer. We stay away from the complainer. We stay away from the horrible, horrible abuser, which I said was the worst one. And we stay away from the competitor. Once we start staying away from people like those or cutting ties with people like those, we're going to have more for ourselves to do the things that we want to do. Another thing that I want to add is that you have to understand when you're trying to grow your finances, your own personal finance, because remember, it's a personal thing, right? Your financial journey is personal. When you're trying to grow your money, you're trying to grow your wealth. These 5 people that I mentioned, they're not going to be happy for you. They're only happy enough or happy where you have something to give them or to offer them. The moment they can't use you anymore, you're the worst person in the world. Okay? This is where the whole cycle of blame starts. The whole cycle of blaming, oh, well, you know what? I did this for her. She ain't never do nothing for me. We got to stop dealing with people like those. We have to stop. We got to concentrate on making our own money. We have to educate ourselves about how money really works on a personal level. Because, again, this is your finances, right? This is how you feel. I'm going to tell you something else. I don't care what anybody says. When your mind isn't right. And this is why I mentioned these 5 things about basically like cutting ties or getting rid of, you know, situations or people or environments that, you know, that don't add to your leveling up. They don't add to your mental state. They don't add to your mind. All they do is tear you down. They're negative. Nothing good comes out of their mouth. The only time they could have a good conversation with you is when they need to use you and they need to use your money. You just got to learn to say no. You got to cut them off immediately. Because by you keeping them with you, or you continue to have friendships or relationships with these type of people, it's like you're going backwards. You're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. So with that said, beautiful people, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. If you've gotten this far in my message, maybe at the bottom you can comment money. Because again, we're talking about money, right? We're talking about how to level up and how to make our money grow without distractions and toxic people that's taking our money away from us. That's what we're trying to do. Again, comment, like, subscribe, and share. I hope everybody has a beautiful, beautiful day. Remember, you're as important as you feel. Put your money to work for you. Let it work for you. Don't let nobody trick you and guilt you into feeling bad about not having enough or not gaining enough. While you're on this journey to make your money, you have to get rid of all of the distractions and cut everyone off or everything off that makes it difficult for you to get to where you need to get to. Once you do that, I guarantee you're going to feel so much better. Some little things that used to bother you before, some things that you thought that you couldn't get, that you thought you couldn't buy. Because remember, why are some of the reasons why you couldn't buy the things that you wanted to buy? Because you're out giving your money to people. You're lending your money to people. You're letting people guilt you. You're letting people make you feel bad. You're letting people, again, make you feel bad for not having the things that they have. Why waste your time with people like those that are not on the same level as you financially? Clean up your financial life. Once you do all of those things, I guarantee you will start to see your money level up. All right, people, thank you so much.